Hello, everyone from Markup. So happy to see you guys. There's one person live, so I'm really happy that that person is on. I don't know who it is. Just say a little hi in the comments so that I can see who you are. So this week we are starting our new series on smartphone photography. We're going to have a nice discussion on this, and we're going to see exactly what it's all about. So this is a discussion. It's not a course. It's basically to help people understand what photography is with your smartphone. So basically, these little toys that we have are extremely efficient, and we're going to find out little tricks and tips and all sorts of little tweaks that we can do with our photos. So that's very important, and we're going to start with smartphone photography. So this week, what I was asking people to look at was basically lines. I don't know if you guys have actually looked around you while you were taking photos to see what was going on for lines. Did you see railroad tracks like you see in that photo? Did you see roads? Did you see trees? So basically, we're going to go over the different types of lines and see exactly what's all going on with these and how they help your photos. So that's very important. Today we're looking at lines. Now, like I said last week, this is going to be a 10-week series. So this week we're doing lines. I've already announced the next week that we're going to have. It's in my events section of my business page. So go ahead, look, and post your pictures inside the event. I want to see your photos. That's amazing. The more we can share, the better it is. So go on the event section of Markup's business page and share those photos so that we can see exactly what kind of pictures you guys are taking. And feel free to put multiple takes of the same photo so that we can see the effect that different positions have on those photos. Okay? So let's start off with what is line photography. Basically, lines in photography can be actual lines or actually implied lines. Okay, they occur all around us in nature, in a man-made structure. People can also be a line in themselves. We even know how we pose a subject in a portrait, which creates a line. So when they actually tell you, okay, put your arm back, do this, do that, it's because they're trying to create the lines in the photo. So that's very important. Now, there's many different types of lines. We have vertical lines, horizontal lines, diagonal lines, leading lines, implied lines, converging lines, and curved lines. Oh my God, this is so interesting. There's 7 different types of lines you can have in your photos. We're going to look at them one by one, and then I'm going to show you some different examples of what I've taken this week. And that's where you come in. I want you guys to start doing this. Let's discuss about our photos. Let's see what's good, what's not working. And next week, I'll even post my link on our event page so that you guys can actually pop on and discuss with me at the same time. So that's going to be even more interesting. So let's start with vertical lines. Yes, vertical lines. They represent growth, strength, confidence. They're also like our body language. When we stand up straight, we appear more in control, confident, and strong. If the subject is leaning, so if you're leaning against a vertical line in an image, they look supported. So that's very important. Vertical lines in a photo, confidence, structure, and strength. So that's very important. Okay. When we look at horizontal lines, like I said, I'm not giving a course, it's just a discussion. So if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in and we can discuss it as we're actually talking. So vertical lines, they represent stability. And I had fun with vertical lines this week, and not vertical, horizontal lines with the kids. And they're everywhere. It's amazing. So I'll show you some examples when we actually look at my photos. Basically, something that's lying down flat can't fall over. So that's very important. That's something that you have to look at in your photos. Okay, and we'll talk about it in when we come with the diagonal lines also. Okay, it also feels restful purely because it's lying down. So it's very simple. Like you see the backdrop in this picture. Well, it's not a backdrop, it's actually a wall. But the wall is very like soothing. It's like very laid down, and it, it feels good to watch, to look at the photo. Okay. The width of the lines also changes the feeling of the photo. So if the photos like if the lines are very thin, it's going to be a lot more delicate than if you had big, thick, dark lines. So the lines themselves have an impact on your image. And you'll see in the photos that I'm going to show you a little later, they're going to actually, I've taken multiple takes of the same photo, but with different angles and different movements and things like that. And you'll see the impact that that can have. When we look at diagonal lines, basically, um, they're lines that make that have a strong feeling. They're reassuring and restful. But sorry, horizontal lines are strong, reassuring, and restful. But when we talk about diagonal lines, it's tension and energy. I have a really good photo that I've taken of a vehicle that I'll be showing you guys. And you'll see the impact of seeing the vehicle straight up and then at a slant. The impact it gives to the vehicle and the picture, it's completely different. And also, what's fun with diagonals, a lot of people do that with selfies. They'll actually turn their camera sideways and take the picture with the selfie with a little slant angle. What's important also is when you take a photo of a building, don't just make a little slant to it, give it a slant. Make it imposing. Don't make it look like a mistake. Make it look like something that's purposely done when you take your photo. So that's very important. So the other thing that's important is the diagonal makes you feel like it gives you a feeling of sliding off the image. So that is also an effect that the people like having in the pictures, and they increase engagement in your photos. So on Facebook and different platforms, having a little slant in your photo, perfect. It gets people going. That's what we want. And then we have leading lines. So basically, I have an example of that. We'll see what the leading line actually did to my photo. But in this case, the lines bring you towards the subject. That's basically what we want to do. We want to bring our entourage towards our subject. In this case, the siding brings you to the girl herself. So that's important. We want to try to lead the viewer, so you that's looking at the photo, to look at the center of the photo. And we also have a tendency of looking from left to right and top to bottom. So with leading lines, you'll notice that if the lines lead from the left to right, it's a lot simpler to go towards your image than it is with just basically a subject in the center of the photo. So if you have a little movement in your photo, that's even better. Implied lines in photography, basically, um, it's a subtle art. Very often, the techniques are used to inform and lead viewers. It's not something that is very um, pronounced in the picture. It's very discreet. So that's something that you have to look at. I have an example of that I've taken, um, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's yes, there's multiple images that are taken that are exactly the same. Like in my case, it's faucets, uh, but I'm not taking picture of the faucets. I'm taking picture of the water. I like the water that's leaking from the faucet. So that's you'll see there's a line created by the faucets. Like in this case, it's the pillars. There's lines created with the pillars, the repetitiveness of the pillars. Like for example, rows of trees, lampposts, things like that. But what's important is that uh, it's not your It's to make your picture pretty. Okay, it's not the centerpiece of your picture. That's what you have to understand. Then we have converging lines. Converging lines. Hi, Jim. I saw you're online. Very nice to see you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Converging lines. In this case, you have a curved line, you have the road, and then you have the trees, you have some vertical lines, and then you have the body movement. You have the arms in a V shape. The body itself has a curve. So a lot of lines, and they're all converging in together to bring you to the face. So that's very important. And some picture you don't do it everywhere, but you do have some pictures where it's fun to have a completely different style of photo, and converging lines are fun for that. Basically, you have to have more than two diagonal lines to have a converging photo. Okay, and they have to move closer together, and they most likely are from the foreground, so from the beginning of the picture going towards the back of the picture. So that's something that you have to look at. I'm just looking at my notes, see if I've got anything else I could add. That's pretty much it. If we look at the next one, curved lines, some photos people like being straight in their photo and don't move, but it's fun. Give it a curve, move around, take pictures. Don't just take one photo of a group picture or of a portrait. Ask the person to move around, and you'll notice that there might be a photo that actually pops up more than the others because of the position of the body. So that's something that you can actually look at. Make sure that there's movement in the picture. We've been speaking of movement since the very beginning, so that's awesome. Okay. Now, some little tips and tricks that we can actually have. You have to basically, once you get to where you want to take your photos, evaluate the location. Do you see lines? Do you see reflections? Do you see space? Do you see? We're all going to look at these different subjects within the next few weeks. But the first thing you have to learn to do is evaluate your location. Where are you? Are you in a shipyard? Are you in the street, in the park, in the forest? So where are you? Are you at nighttime? Are you in the daytime? Are you in the afternoon? Is it cloudy out? Is it sunny? So make sure that you know what time of day it is. Do you notice any lines in your entourage? So is there any lines that you can actually incorporate into your photo? Do you have a focal point? So that's very important. Do you have a focus that you want to actually present in your photo? Do you want it to be a plant? Do you want it to be a tree, an animal, a person? So make sure that you determine what you actually want to show in your photo. Position yourself accordingly. Now, a lot of people will just stand up and take a photo, but sometimes you have to get on the ground and take the photo. You have to take it with an angle. You have to go up, climb up in a tree. You have to move. Actually, position yourself accordingly to the type of photo you want to take. You want to have movement in the photo. So not just straightforward photos. Make them fun. That's what photography is. Have fun with it. Be creative. Adjust your lighting. If you're missing some lighting, there's different apparatuses that you can actually get. There's ring lamps. There's flashes. Each telephone has a flash on it, so use them. If you actually need to get extra light into your photo, go ahead, put some in. Okay, ask someone that's beside you to actually shine their flashlight on it or shine their phone on it so that you can actually have extra light. So that's very important. Like I said, take multiple shots. That's very, very, very important. Okay. The fun part, the photos. So basically this week I started, well, this was last week. I started a little bit ahead of time. So I kind of found that interesting. So basically it's a wheel, a water wheel, And I found it very interesting the way that the water, there was a little channel that the water was coming down where you could actually sift through sand and look for little objects in the sand itself. So I found that very interesting, and I really liked the way that it brought to that little waterfall, if you can call it, or where the water drops right here. So that's something that I really liked. Um, I wanted to show you guys. Like I said, these faucets. See, I wanted to show the water right here. I like that really. I like that a lot. Like the movement of the water leaking from the faucet. It was cool, and I like that. And then there's the other faucets in the background. But like you see, I put a diagonal in it. I I switched my camera around to see what kind of effect it would do. But like I said, I took taken multiple shots. You see, this wasn't too nice. If I moved it around, I got the focus on the center one instead of the one right here. If you look at my third shot, I moved it again, moved down a little bit, and my focus wasn't on the water leaking from this faucet; it was on the other faucets. So I played around with it to be able to get that first initial shot right here. So that was my best shot out of the few that I've taken. Then there was this one with Skylar that when we went fishing last Sunday, that was awesome because it was actually Father's Day and I took time to go fishing with my son. Never done that before. I don't like fishing, but I did it with my son because it's an activity that we could have fun together. Now, there was the fishing rod. I found that very interesting, and there was a boat in the background. So I really like that. But after reading everything about lines, I wanted to incorporate as much as I could. So I started off taking some photos, and you see, the more I went and got the length of the body. I tried to get more movement with the rod itself. You see, I went and got his feet. The hat, I wanted to incorporate the hat with um, the I don't know how you call those, but the yeah, to protect his eyes, but in this case, it's back of his head. So basically, I took the photo, but this was my best shot right here. The water with the feet, and then the rod aiming towards the little boat at the end, which I really liked a lot. And then the arms, the hat, everything it was a really nice photo, and I really liked this one more than the others that I took. If I go back, you see it's like imperfect. It's not like I didn't like it. And by the way, I did not modify these photos whatsoever. They're basically, I took the photo and here it is. Okay. This one right here, I was playing around with my camera. Like I said, I often play around with the selfie shots, and I wanted to go get diagonal. But the fun part about this one is I'm going to make you guys sick a little bit, but it's pretty awesome. When you turn the photo a little bit, it would have been nice on this angle also. You see that it feels like, whoa, people are falling down. But as soon as you turn it around, it looks really weird. There's something not right. And that's what the diagonals do. So that's what's important about diagonals, is that when you actually make the photo, you see in this case, I tried to make us as straight as possible, and the background was crooked. So that's what was really cool about this photo. So play with the angles. That's really cool. Okay. I went to Starbucks last week, and basically I saw this line right here, the curb. And I found that interesting because there's many cars in front of me. But then I started looking at the photo and I said, there's something not right about what I'm taking as a photo. There was this line at the top. There's too many things inside the same photo, and your eyes were all over the place. So I basically took more photos. I zoomed in to see what it would do. And then again, I had the side right here. I had the rust on the bottom right here. I didn't like that, and it wasn't precise enough. So I decided to actually take a third one, and I cut that out. I actually zoomed in again and cut out the side of the building. So I prefer this one right here. So I know it's Starbucks. And then you see the nice, beautiful line of vehicles, one behind each other, and all in a straight line going to the drive-through. So that was very interesting. And just to show you how basic it can be, I was waiting in the line. took some photos just to try things out, and that's how you make your photos perfect. You practice, practice, practice. Okay. Here, there was horizontal lines. Like I said in the background, it's fun to have some lines that are horizontal. And basically, we were at the restaurant ordering some food. So basically, we were just sitting there waiting, and we decided to take some selfies. And the background was pretty. And I don't like. It's a very simple background, but I actually liked it, and it fit with our theme today, and it was this week. So I really liked that photo. And so did Brooklyn really like that too. This one right here, like I was talking about, the leading lines, something that I found interesting is in this photo. And when I took actually the photo, I'd never noticed the tree. But in this one, the focus is on the tree. So all of this is all blurry and everything brings it to the tree. And there's nothing precise about my cup. And I was trying to photograph the cup. So you see, cell phones are very particular. You have to make sure that you have the right focus on the object you're trying to photograph. Again, multiple takes. The same tree again pops up. And then I tried to focus in on my object itself. And the lines get more precise here. And I lose the tree itself at the back. So I had to play with my focus. Now that's very important. When you actually take your photos, play around with your phones. Skylar was climbing in the spider web. That was awesome. I really like that. This is actually my favorite one where he's looking directly at the camera, but he's actually climbing at the same time. And you'll see I've taken multiple takes, and depending on his position, his body position and stuff, I didn't like the way he was. See, that's a nice one right here. But if you look at the other one right after, it's not nice. So the body itself has an importance on the photo. Now, the next photos are basically curved lines. I did it on purpose. This is at the park. The kids have fun here. So basically, the curved lines, Brooklyn was standing in it, and I said, hey, let's take some pictures. And she decided to stand, and I didn't like it at all. So I asked her, why don't you try to curve your body into the lines? And look at the difference between the two actual photos. There's the one where she stands straight and the one where she actually curves. Skylar curved right away. He didn't like being standing straight. I don't know why he didn't like it, but he just curved into it, and he really liked that. And then we took the slide. The slide, what I liked about it, it brings you up to my focus, which is Skylar. So that is something that I really liked about this photo. And you see, I didn't take the picture from far. I took it from very, very close. The phone itself was on the slide while Skylar was sliding down. So that is something that's interesting too. Position yourself accordingly to what you're taking as a photo. We went to a car show on Thursday. We do a lot of activities with the kids and stuff. We try to keep it as busy as possible for them. What I liked is basically here with this vehicle, there's not many lines on the car itself. Okay. And when you buy vehicles, they often talk about the lines. Look at the line of the vehicle, and this one doesn't have many lines. What I really liked about it is basically the grill at the front is like the little squares, the vertical and horizontal lines. It's like there's something appealing about that. And then there's the horizontal lines right here in the center. So like your focus, and I took my picture extremely centered, so that basically you would actually get that feel of the square and with the curbs and stuff. And I really like that. Brooklyn wanted to sit behind the wheel of the vehicle. Another vehicle, Ford, really likes the horizontal lines. And as you see, they don't put no impact on the vertical lines, but you do have the vertical lines in the photo. And we'll talk about this in another session, another discussion, but the reflections. See, I have the chrome right here that reflects the light, which I really liked in my photo. this one with Pontiac that has just basically the massive horizontal lines. A completely different feel from Ford, which is more like very fine and refined. So that's really cool. But the big, massive lines of Pontiac is really it's a cool feel to the vehicle. And then the last one, the vehicle that I really like the most, the McLaren, of course. I took a straight photo to see what it looked like, and there's lots of curves and stuff. But then I decided to be a little creative with it and took one at an angle. But look at how awesome this looks. It's got that diagonal. It's got that sporty look. It's amazing. And just the fact of taking it at a more squared level, more I'm taking a picture of a car. There's no appeal to it. There's no movement. It doesn't look engaging. So, but this one, put this one on one of your posts, and this one is going to talk a lot more than this little straight photo. So that's what you have to do when you talk about lines. You have to take pictures that'll actually um, speak to you, and you have to be creative. That's the only thing you have to do with lines. And lines are everywhere. So everything that you do has lines in it. Your body has movement. There's the pavement that has a line, the horizon. You have, like you saw, the reflection of light actually creates a line through your photo. So look at the lines. That's something that's very important in photography. Oh, yes, it was a pink Thunderbird. That's why Brooklyn sat in it. It was a pink Thunderbird right there. Um, because of the sun and stuff, it looks more like beige, but it was a very light pink. It was awesome. And the seats were beige and it was awesome. So that is all, folks. I just wanted to take time to discuss with you lines, and if there's anything you guys want to discuss in the next week, make sure that you give me a shout. Now, just a little reminder for next week, our next subject is space. So, what are we going to talk about with space? Now, when you take your photos this week, make sure that you actually look at your entourage and try to incorporate space. So, is there sky? Is there a forest? So, look at space, and that we're going to incorporate into their photos. And next week, I'll have a whole bunch of new photos for you, and we'll have fun. Make sure to post your photos in the event so that we can actually share them. That's going to be awesome. And I want to see multiple photos of the same photo you're trying to take so that we can actually see the evolution of the pictures. So, on that note, be safe, take care, and we'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Bye.